Hello, everybody. My name is Roxtis,
And I'm Silkio.
and welcome back to Warframe. Wow, are you
Woo!
ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, Warframe update of December 13th, 2024. They came out with 1999 and a Trinity and Trinity and Nyx rework, which I thought for the most part, the 1999 for the 1999 segment, that was great. We got to see some different things, no spoilers there, but definitely go
Yeah.
through if you have Warframe, if you have an account, definitely go through and play 1999. This is great. The only things that I can really say about that is I wish that the tank boss was a little bit more fully fleshed through, and I wish that it wasn't a two-phase boss. But other than that, it is pretty interesting to see, especially when you're doing that fight, that the infestation immediately takes control. So I would think that infestation would take years to actually go to the second stage and actually take control over a device or anything like that. But that
Yeah.
was interesting to see how it was just immediate how the infestation took over the tank. But other than that, 1999, definitely go through and play through that. That is pretty interesting. Another thing too with the story there, I wish that the story was a little bit more fleshed out. It kind of seems like we're kind of floating around with the story again. It is kind of common with Warframe at this point not to have a conclusive story, but that is what it is. With the reworks, which I think is more of my interest, more of my point, is I like to actually see how the form and function of a Warframe actually is. And I will just dive into Nyx because I like doing Warframes and I like seeing
Woo!
the potential of certain Warframes. So Nyx is one. If you haven't seen Nyx, how to go back and see that and then continue with here. But Nyx is one of those that I started out with Warframe. I really wanted her to actually work. They did do a buffer for her. It does work a little bit more so now than it used to. Just diving into the abilities here, her passive used to be add 20% chance that enemies will just not hit you. This has definitely changed. And if you've watched that Nyx how-to video, you remember me saying how the passive was might have well and just not have been there. Because 20% hit or miss doesn't mean a whole lot of difference when most likely a miss could actually mean a hit because you're actually moving. And this is even in a lot of conclave too, where if you're moving around, even if you are projecting where a target could be or where it could end up being, even having less accuracy, even in terms of a Subra, the Subra actually isn't that bad. The Supra isn't actually that bad because of its bad accuracy. It actually ends up having a lot more chance to actually hit something because of that negative accuracy. So even back then, I still kind of agree with myself back then too, is now, with that passive just being very, very poor as it was. Now they have changed that passive to Nyx gains 40% critical chance on primary and secondary weapons per confused enemy based upon chaos or other mind control abilities with an affinity range, which affinity range doesn't matter what your current range is on your Warframe. So there's a difference there between affinity range and ability range. Ability range could be poor or suboptimal. It could be very, very poor. But affinity range is a given set range within having other players around you. So the affinity range is a set range. So it doesn't matter what your actual range is, up to 200%. So you get that bonus no matter if you have poor range or good range on your abilities. It's dependent on your affinity range, which I believe the affinity range is just a set range, and you can increase it with, is it Vazarin? Or
Um,
one of the Tenno schools, you can increase your affinity range.
Zeramon, I think.
Zeramon or something like that. But yes, no real positive or negative there with the ability range. Although for Chaos, you do want a good range. So that's the thing that did change here. For this, I wish it was a little bit better. I can see though with this passive and when they are also doing Trinity's passive, where they're trying to move you more to doing a primary or a secondary weapon, not so much on melee. Melee has been kind of nerfed down quite a bit over the duration of these patches over the past few years or whatever. They've been trying to more focus on primaries and secondaries, which there's a whole problem in and of itself trying to do that. Is even with this, I feel like it's getting more and more overpowered with primary and secondary weapons. And I wish they would just go through the weapons themselves and just buff the weapons rather than just going through and just slapping a whole bunch of, try to get you more to do gun dueling things than melee. And I wish they would just go through the weapons and actually just rework the entire weapons and throw out a lot of these poor ideas. That's just for me, but just to me, it's just, this seems a lot more overpowered because it really is overpowered. But also Trinity as well for the Ultimates Augment does the same thing. There's no real difference there, but I believe it's Champion's Blessing. It gives you more critical chance up to, instead of 200% for Nyx, it goes to 350%. So it's a way higher bonus for Trinity, but it's dependent on your allies actually taking damage and you being able to heal your allies, which for the most part, it's like 50-50. So yeah, this is a little bit overpowered for just this passive. You could have done, I believe for me, just something a little bit better along the same lines. I have an idea for Nyx's rework, and I don't know if I mentioned that before or not, but I do have an idea for Nyx's rework. There is a little bit better throughout this entire kit that could have been done a lot better, but definitely going through here and just showing you the changes. Mind control, as per usual, does the same thing, as per usual, but a few things have changed here. The target that you mind control now gains status chance of 100% radiation status proc on their attack. So if they attack any unit near you, they'll not only do their regular damage, obviously, but they'll gain more status chance of radiation, which buffs their damage to the enemy and their enemy to them. So one thing I definitely wanted to put down here too was me to you, you to me. Whatever damage is going to, whatever your units are, is going back to you and then going back to them. So it's just a reciprocating damage. So because of those multipliers, Nyx gets more damage off of them. And the same thing is Nyx dealing damage to them gives more damage to me. So me to you, you to me. It's just, that's the way that they kind of put it for this one. Mind Freak has the same damage as per normal. But one thing that they did change here in the ability was it increases the target's fire rate and their speed, which is really, really cool because, like I've said before, I believe on Equinox or something else like that, but with increased AI speed, with increased CPU speed, if the target, the AI, is faster, it's more logical. When it's more logical, it just makes better moves and it does things not only quicker, but it also just makes a smarter move to begin with. So this, for increasing the fire rate speed and the basic speed, makes the AI seem a lot smarter and makes them a lot more just in terms better. Another thing too is when you're looking at any specters now. Specters have a new unique thing, and it's not even just to Nyx, it's also to like Equinox's duplicate or anything else like that, where they gain innate permanent status knockdown or status immunities, I would have to say, but not only that, status knockdowns, where they just cannot get knocked down. So if they're in the field of combat, this is great because now they just can't get knocked down or anything else like that. So that is wonderful that they just can't get nullified by getting knocked down or killed early. They are immune to all statuses. So this is great. There we go. Now we got desktop audio.
All right.
Okay. So I don't know what was happening there. But yes, real big bonus to Spectres, especially Spectres, because now they don't get knocked down. They don't get some horrible status effect knocked onto them. Now they're fully usable so that they don't get that annoying knockdowns or anything else like that. So it just makes them a lot more potent, a lot more usable, and they just are more potentially active. And especially with this here in Mind Control, the target just deals a lot more damage, especially with the me to you, you to me, because of all these bonuses off of radiation. This is great for dealing damage. Psychic bolts, a new change that they added here, was when you do your bolts, there's additional bolts on death. So if you do your bolts onto a target, kill that target, those bolts spread and basically strip more and more armor as it goes on. And that's nice because you don't have to recast the ability which you used to have to do. So this is great because all those bolts, they just keep on traveling and you never have to recast it until, of course, the debuff duration ends, and then you do have to recast it. Defense reduction, again, here is the same. You get, apparently they added in more maximum armor, which I don't get. I don't get why we're adding armor onto Nyx. That doesn't make any sense with the ability and the character. So to me, that doesn't make any sense. You get shield restore, and you also get overguard off of this as well. So the nice thing here is that those bolts do travel. So we're going to go ahead and show that real quick here. Boom. And then like these characters, they have armor obviously with the orange. Pop 1 or 2, now they get the armor reduced as well. Prior, they did not travel. They did not go to the next unit. Now they do. So this is wonderful because
Which is
then
lovely.
yeah, now you don't have to recast the ability. It just keeps on going, which is wonderful for Nyx. So it does make it a lot more potent for her. And then of course, as well, you get overguard. So I don't think I showed that, but overguard steal. Oh, if there is an Eximus, you do steal overguard, apparently. So you can get overguard, which is basically like Rhino. When you get overguard, you basically become status immune. If someone's trying to knock you down, you don't get knocked down. Although I would still have Prime Sure-Footed because you're not always guaranteed that you're going to always have that overguard. So
Yeah.
regardless, just have Prime Sure-Footed on. Don't mess around with that. But that is cool to see the overguard. Although the armor, again, I just don't understand that. That's just not part of her and what she is. So that doesn't make a lot of sense. Chaos. The only thing they really changed here was that they added radiation. I don't know if they added radiation prior to this or after this. I believe it was just during this update. But each of the targets that you use Chaos on now get 10 stacks of radiation, which is wonderful. Again, having this radiation proc just innately go onto the targets where they all have 10 radiation. Now, each of these targets, when they start firing on each other, they have a 5.5 times damage multiplier. And this is the same thing when you mind control a target. Your target now has 5.5 times damage multiplied from him to the next person over. So this is great because then your target, not only, again, me to you, you to me, gets more damage from other targets onto them, you onto them, which just amps up your mind controlled target. And this is why I would definitely go Mind Freak with this, because they deal too much damage at this point. They deal too much damage, especially with those 10 radiation procs. Everyone deals more damage to you, you deal more damage to them, vice versa. So it really works well with each other, especially with the radiation procs. But yeah, that's the only thing that they have really changed on Chaos. Then moving over to Absorb. Nyx draws in and contains. This is completely new with the kit. And this is what's really interesting. Draws and contains the damage dealt to her, to the confused enemies, and the damage that they deal to each other. So not only do you absorb what gets put into the bubble in terms of just projectiles or anything else, but if the enemies are attacking each other as well, she absorbs the damage that they deal to each other and then converts it into a devastating blast. So this to me is kind of like, okay, well, why? This is kind of stupid, because not only is she absorbing just whatever's getting put into the bubble, but absorbing the damage that the enemies are dealing to each other, which makes no sense. To me, absorb is whatever she is absorbing, not what other people are absorbing, which is just kind of weird to even begin with. And plus two, you could do a little bit more potential with this, but they did change it, and I guess it is a pretty good change where it's just a set duration now instead of being an infinite duration based upon energy, which again, like to even begin with, was pretty poor to begin with, because you just drain all your energy, and as soon as your energy is drained, it's just gone. So I guess kudos. It's a pretty good change. It's a pretty bad change. It's a pretty good change. It's a kind of, I don't know, change. It does show more potential. It does show more potential for the kit. And a good thing that they did add in here as well was they added in a 5,000 to 1 second conversion for in invulnerability. So every 5,000 damage that is absorbed, you get 1 second of bonus invulnerability. And then, of course, you have an invulnerability duration cap of 6 seconds. So if you go up to 30,000 damage absorbed, you get 6 seconds of invulnerability. You are just invulnerable during that duration. So this is wonderful. But again, why do the targets absorb damage? This is absorb. This goes on to her. So to me, I don't fully understand it. It doesn't make a lot of sense. And again, with the max weapon damage buff, when the duration ends, you get 400% bonus damage based upon how much damage you have actually absorbed. This is absolutely, again, I'm going to rip into this, not useful. Remove it. Doesn't make any sense. It is in the sense of me to you, you to me. That makes sense because she takes damage for them. She reciprocates that damage back to them. And then from them to you to me, same thing. Just, again, in a loop there. Cool things that have changed with Absorb. Absorb doesn't just sit you in one place anymore. You can actually move around with this. You can ascend and descend during the ability. This is great for mobility, and plus 2, this just really helps with gameplay, just being able to move around, anything else like that. So that's great that that has changed. What hasn't changed, though, and that a lot of people, I bet, sure wish would change, is the assimilate here. This is ridiculous. So I can hit 4. Now it has changed back to its prior state where it will drain per second. As you can see, my energy is slowly depleting. Problems with this. My speed is still halved. Stalker, his speed is not halved when he has assimilate on. This is something I wish that was a little bit more worked on. So yeah, you have the assimilate, you can ascend, descend. But when you have assimilate on, you can jump now. So jumping is nice. That's great. I can't do and perform a second jump. I can't do a double jump.
Can you not do a bullet jump?
I can't do a bullet jump.
Oh,
That's another
okay.
thing. So again, with movability and everything like that, it still kind of sucks. It's better than it was. We can do better. We can do better. We could be able to bullet jump. We could be able to, do certain other things like being able to move at full speed. I don't know if it's a 50% speed reduced. I think it's a little bit better. Maybe it's only 25% of your speed is reduced. But as soon as you end, obviously you speed up. Obviously you go back to full speed. So your speed is still reduced somewhat. But I wish it was better where if you had absorb on, which I wish you could bullet jump. The nice things that I always have liked about Nyx are still here. The insanely fast, instantaneous casting speed, which when you first pop on the ability, just watch it. There is no animation times to cast. It is instantaneous when you press the button. That is something that I have always enjoyed, and that's something that I always like about Nyx, is just boom, it's just on. And then of course you have the animation to end, but it just immediately activates. And that's something that is really, really cool that I've always liked about Nyx. But again, I have a rework idea for Nyx, and for what this is for the rework, it works. It does its job. It gives more damage to your mind control target, and it gives more damage to chaos. But the thing that I just don't like is the kit. The kit should be a mind control person, and it kind of strays away from that. I wish it was more mind control. Just to me does not make any sense. If it were me, why are you getting the armor? Why are you getting this 400% damage bonus? The status, that makes sense. I mean, these people are fighting each other, they're going crazy over each other. That makes sense. But otherwise, for the armor, why are we getting armor? Certain things I just don't like about it. And then speed decreases still here 50%, so that makes sense. I think it's still inverted for the symbol for that. But yeah, to me, you could do better. You can do better. It works for now. It does what it's supposed to do, which is actually buff Nyx for now, and it does a good job for now. But I could see more potential where we get this a little bit more fine-tuned. We get it to where we want it, rather than just slapping some fix on it, this is what this is. It's just kind of slapping a little bit of a fix just to give more damage potential. But you could do more where it's actually balanced to where she's supposed to be and more in tune with her kit for what she's supposed to be. So yeah, that's Nyx. Yeah, status immune. I love that for the specters. That all the specters now are pretty much status immune, if that is what it is. Which, from Equinox perspective, that is what it is. Yeah. Then moving on to Trinity. So Trinity, not much has really changed here with Trinity. They did do a few small changes. However, we're going to go through this from top to bottom, again, starting with the passive.
Can I switch to Trinity?
Oh, yes. I forgot.
I can't. Yeah, okay.
Trinity. So, for Trinity, the overall view is that she has increased durations for her abilities. It's just kind of more of a Bastion build, is just trying to be the Bastion of survival and trying to be a little bit better about that. They changed the passive. They did the same thing with Frost. Frost passive was suboptimal, yes, but you could have buffed it to the point where it was actually something better than what it currently is. What it currently is, to me, sucks because it doesn't represent the Warframe or what the Warframe's kit is at all. So I wish that was... I wish people would take the time to think about what they're doing before they do it, and think about the character and what they're supposed to be portraying, and actually, hey, this isn't in line with what the character is, and think a little bit more about what the character should be doing rather than just slapping some fast, oh, we need to fix this, and I wish a little bit more thought was put into it. So the passive here for Trinity is they've completely rechanged this passive. The old passive was you resurrect people 25% faster. It's basically an Assyrian build. With the passive, it used to be, hey, instead of taking 5 seconds to revive someone, it would take 4 seconds. So it's reduced time on that. And then you can revive people from 50% further away. So you could just be further away from someone and revive them faster, which is wonderful to get your teammates up. So that, to me, makes it medic. She's really, really good like that. That is what she is. That's who she's supposed to be. They've changed this. Allies within infinity range gain 50% of Trinity's max energy as health. So basically, whatever your energy is, half that, that's how much you get in health. I wish the old passive was still here. This makes sense in terms of energy to give people extra health. But I like the fast reviving.
Well, that's kind of like Jade's third ability. She can revive him from afar.
Yeah.
With her third.
This is medic. Like, you're down, I'm bleeding out. The medic just pulls out the Band-Aid kit and starts slapping Band-Aids on you. That to me makes more sense than let's add a little bit more health. How in the world does that make sense? I don't know. I wish the old passive was still here. That made more sense because, especially if you have a new player, this is great for Trinity to be able to just revive people quicker, and especially for new players. They like to be in the action faster, and this doesn't make a lot of sense. I like the old passive. That's just me. I'm a stickler for the old stuff.
Yeah.
Will of Life, things that have changed here is the amount of Well of Lives that you can actually do, and they added in an immortality. With immortality, they added in that if you were to die, this might take a while because they're so low level. Let's do something better.
Let's ramp up the level, please.
Let's kill things faster. So, just in case, I put down Well of Life. Oh no, I'm gonna die. My health is depleted. Boom.
Yay, okay.
You see
I
that?
think I live. No.
No?
Never mind.
No?
Hold on. Kill me, please.
Please kill me. That's something that
kill me, please.
you don't want to hear every day. Please kill me. But above on the top right, you have a Well of Life counter cooldown for the new invulnerability period.
Can you spawn more people in here, please?
Well, they got to kill you faster.
Yes, they do.
Kill you.
My Will of Life is healing me. Okay, there we go. There we
Boom.
go. Boom.
And as soon as you go down, it's the new passive, which they actually put on the Will of Life augment. So what this does is if you die within Well of Life's circle, within the area, you have to die within the circle. It gives you an immortality. Well, I would say I would call it a resurrection. They give you a resurrection, one resurrection, and so you can die within Well of Life, and then you resurrect with full health. But the thing is it's on a cooldown, so it can only happen once every 60 seconds. If you die twice within that 60 seconds, you die.
Yeah.
So you have one resurrection, but after those 60 seconds elapses, and you die a second time, and you die within Well of Life rather than outside, because you have to have it within Well of Life, you can get resurrected a second time or even indefinite times as long as you wait the 60 seconds out and then die again within Well of Life. So this just adds a lot more survivability to it. This adds a lot more bastion to it. So this is approved. I like this. It gives you an immortality duration of 5 seconds after you get killed, so that you're invulnerable for 5 seconds, and then you have to wait the whole 60 seconds to basically get the skin. You can augment this in Hemlith. If you do augment it for another Warframe, instead of 60 seconds on a cooldown, it will be actually 120. I'd have to say a quick note here. I wish it was, instead of 60 seconds, I wish it was longer, because definitely you can't abuse that. But 60 seconds isn't bad. It could definitely be longer, though. And then, of course, Well of Life, instead of just casting on one unit, you can cast it on multiple units. You can cast it on 3 different units simultaneously all at the same time. So this is great for the Well of Life. They changed Well of Life's duration from 12 seconds to 20 seconds. So that's a good buff for duration, just to be able to have those Well of Lives out on the table all at the same time for a longer duration. They also increased the range, the base range of Well of Life, from 15 meters to 20. So just a bigger range of the Well of Life, so that if you die, you have a greater chance of actually being within Well of Life than out of it when you die. So that just gives more chance for allies to just not die, which is great. And then, of course, you have the increased duration, so that it just stays out on the table longer. Pretty much nothing else has really changed, other than they're adding the multiple Well of Lives, and, of course, adding in immortality. So that is all really cool. And I love this because they increased durations for Trinity. This is great because the durations were already low to begin with. And when you're upping durations, this is nice because you don't have to press the abilities as often. And as you can see for my Tao shards, I have full-on casting speeds on her. That's why, because just all these abilities have always been low, and at least they're upping their durations on them. But there is a point to having them to be low, because, it is low.
Yeah.
Other things that they have changed as well: Energy Vampire. Energy Vampire has been Mungo buffed.
Mungo Bow.
There are multiple bongs now. Too many bongs to be bonged. They have changed this so that if you have a duration build versus a anti-duration build, you can do either, and it works very, very well. You can do Energy Vamp where you have full duration, or you can go full negative duration, and it gives you a lot of energy. So if you want full negative duration, you still get 4 pulses, and you get them very quickly. But you might as well just go duration, because with duration, they have a pulse interval. What this means is, per the duration, whatever duration it is, which if you go more duration, you get more duration out of the ability. So the duration for me right now is 22 seconds and 0.86. Per 2.25 seconds of pulse interval, that means the intervals between pulses, you get 44.25 energy, or whatever your energy is. So every pulse is set to the interval is set to 2.25. So if you have more duration, this means that over the duration of the ability, you get more pulses, you get more energy. You have a shorter duration, it doesn't give you as much energy because you have less pulses that actually happen. And this is great because if you straight up kill the target right away, it unleashes the floodgate of all of those pulses all at once.
Yeah.
So prior, you only had 4 pulses. Right now, I have 10 pulses on this ability. Okay? I have over doubled my amount of pulses. Okay. I kill that target. Instead of just getting, I think it's around 160, let's just say 40 energy, but around 160 energy. If it was at 40, right now I can get 400 energy off of just one kill.
Whew.
So this really buffs getting your energy back and just, yeah, who cares about range or who cares about, the EV build anymore? You can just straight up kill that target, and as long as your allies are near enough to that target, because I mean, even with the radius of 8.5 meters, just get close to the target, because you kill that target, you get the floodgate of energy. Your energy goes from quite literally, 100 whatever, boom, you're full on energy. You don't need energy for the next, minute or whatever it is. Just, yeah, this is very, very powerful for this. Having the pulse interval be 2.25 seconds and having it where you can basically have indefinite energy to that point, as long as you have lots of duration on it. So this is really, really useful. Big buff to energies there.
Yeah.
Link, not a lot has changed. They changed this from 12 seconds to 17 seconds, so they just increased the duration on Link. This is great because you get to be able to strip enemy armor and be able to have the ability out on the table for longer. One thing,
Oh, you get 5 links now instead of 3, because it used to be
oh,
3.
it used to be 3. Oh my goodness, is that just off of the augment?
I have no clue.
Oh, that is interesting. Or is it just because the ability is leveled up? Yeah, it used to be 3 though.
It used to be just 3.
Huh. So I didn't notice that, but yeah,
Oh,
apparently you
I
get
noticed that.
5 links, which is pretty interesting. One thing though that I wish that had been changed on this was that you could recast the ability while the ability is currently going. And currently, I don't believe you can. So, like, I have 50 seconds. If it was down to 2 seconds or 5 seconds or whatever, I wish they fixed that. Never mind. Wow. Good job, DE. Good job. That's all I can say about that. So if your link is at 5 seconds or anything else like that, it used to be that you could not recast link. Oh, I'm at 5 seconds. Well, you have to wait until the duration of the ability ends. Not the case anymore. I go back to 50 seconds.
Oh, that's
So
lovely.
lovely again. Same thing with blessing. Blessing has always been recastable. So again, you can just recast it and refresh the duration. But Link used to be, it ends, you have to wait for it to end, then you can recast it. This, you can overlap the cast, which is lovely. Doesn't give you increased damage reductions at all, but it does give you the ability to keep the ability active rather than having it go off and then you lose that damage reduction and you can't get killed. So that is just great that they changed Link like that. I love that. I go, hey, there's this problem with this ability, and then I go and test it and I go, oh wait, they fixed that. Love that. Blessing was been changed from 10 seconds on the duration. I remember the 10 seconds. I did not like the 10 seconds.
No, I did not either.
They have buffed this to 15 seconds, so you get longer durations on Blessing overall. I just love this.
Wonderful.
So big patch for Trinity here. Big buffs. Well of Life has definitely been augmented for more player protection. I like the new immortality, the resurrection. Yeah, just a really good rework. This passive did not need to get reworked, but all over from me, positives from everything here. This is a great job. Well of Life could have been augmented or tweaked a little bit more with the immortality or the resurrection. In terms of duration, I don't believe that this should be like, hey, 60 seconds and you get a scot-free badge. I believe this should be more so just a resurrection and be careful, I don't know about the immortality. It seems like we're adding a little bit too much immortalities, but this is a really good rework, especially Energy Vampire, where you can get multiple Pongs all at the same time. Lovely, lovely.
Yeah.
Lovely reworks. Again, with Nyx could have been definitely done a lot better. I can give in a few definite quotes of, hey, this could be changed, that could be changed, but especially with the AI speed increased, that just makes it so much better. So much better. But yeah.
Can you put out some people? Because I want to test that 5-link theory.
The 5-link? Yeah. Is there 5 links?
Yes, there is.
Oh my goodness. So
Look at my 5 links.
Big buff there. Big buff. So you can see those 5 different strings, the little strings that come out. So she's got 3 right now, but if we spawn more...
I need more people, please.
I need more people. If they are grouped. That's the problem.
I got 4 here.
But yeah, you get up to 5 links, which is wonderful. So a lot better armor strippage there, especially for Nyx. That is great that you actually have something there for Nyx. But again, I have my own ideas for Nyx. And the Psychic Bolts, for me, I have a completely rewrite for this where it becomes even better than what it currently is. And yeah, if my dreams ever come true, this would actually become like, she would be really nice. The abilities kind of stay the same. There is some changes that I would definitely do to this, but I could augment this to be better. And then especially with the passive, we're just adding things in. Come on. We can do better than this. We can do better than that.
Yeah.
So especially just kind of making her the orc and I'm not going to say because I'm going to give too much away, but this would be awesome. This would be awesome. I wish there was a little bit more. But yes, definitely go back. Play 1999. That is a really good change. It is a little bit high level, but really, really fun. Great changes to Trinity. Great changes to Nyx. Nyx is actually usable now. There's nothing said, though, more like...
Mag. Love that pull.
Yes, there's nothing more like said. This is really, really broken right now in its current state.
Well, can you spawn more people? And then...
What?
And then I could confuse them. And then I could go like this.
Sure. That's another thing, though, is, yeah, the whole thing there. That is just ridiculous. You don't even have to be near them. You can be off in your own little corner, and you'll still be absorbing.
Yep.
So, yeah, I do have a rework for that. That would make it a little bit more synergized off of what she is. But yeah, I really, like, you see Warframes like Mag and what she can do in her kit, and she can pull people all in one bubble and she can just kill them. And then you look over at Nyx and it's like, okay, well, she can confuse people and do certain things, and, you know, she has been buffed. But again, there's something to say for Mag where she can just wipe out the enemy. Now, I don't know if it's true for the same thing for Eximus units. Eximus units for Mag, she cannot pull them. She cannot do anything like that. So there is a big nerf there for that, where it's like, hey, you know, if there's a whole bunch of Eximus units, you know, Mag becomes kind of more difficult to actually play. But Nyx has definitely been buffed, and I really do like this. This is awesome. Being able to float, being able to move around like that, that is awesome. But again, some changes could be made to make her even better. I would like to see better thought and better put together for this frame. So yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Anything else you want to add to that, or?
Not that I'm aware of.
1999 though, definitely. That is a fun.
It was very fun.
Oh yeah.
I kind of want to do something.
You
Oh, boom.
Oh yes. Oh yes, and the new bikes. Yeah, definitely 1999. Go and play it. It's a lot of fun.
Woo!
Well, is that all the time we have for this episode?
Unfortunately, yes.
And we will see you guys in a new game in the very next video. Bye-bye!
Bye-bye!